following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. And it's yet another very interesting day. I've got some neat technical news coming here in the show. In fact, I just got off about 1 minute before the show started, watching a big demonstration by a little company called Microsoft. And I have to say that they may have something. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But my guess is by the next hour or two, you're going to start seeing it on a lot of the media. Right now, they're kind of ignoring it. And I think that's probably good for us stuff. But very, very neat stuff from Microsoft. And a little of it I expected, but they came out with something totally unexpected today. And it is interesting. Does that sound any better? We shall continue. Such a slow type. Went silent. Okay. Well, let's go back up here. Now, is that any better? Okay. Hopefully. But my guess is that the problem is with the studio computer as it normally is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Anyway, it is going on an interesting day out here. We had a nice little pop. Well, now he's trying to complain because the computer crashes about 20 times a week, and yet he's going to try to blame my side for it, although he says it sounds better. Other things going on here, of course, is the S&P cash. We got up to 2038 earlier this morning, got down to a low of 2012. It looked to me like there were a lot of games going on for expiration. Looking at the expiration charts last night, it looked to me like they didn't have enough time to get what they wanted on. And I suspect what we have today is just another how can I say it? Intestinal gastric discharge, belch, in the market as they get ready for the ECB tomorrow. But I think today was kind of a gift. At least it gave me about 12 points of S&P movement to add some additional positions in the daily newsletter. And I think we're doing good here. I think I hit the, I mean, there's kind of an art to writing newsletters, and it's not just clicking I want to buy or sell now. It's knowing that someone's probably not going to be buying or selling for another 30 minutes or an hour, or maybe even a couple hours as soon as they get the email. So you have to give them enough time to go out there and get it in enough range. But I'm thinking I got just about all the wood on the ball on this one, and already doing up. Probably got a 2% move upside already in the position. So pretty happy about that. But it is all about tomorrow. Everything that I see says that we're headed lower. From the options that they put on yesterday and the rollover in the options, it certainly looks to me like there's almost a scorched earth belief. How can I say? Scorched earth is about it. Reminds me of when the Russians were being chased back to Moscow and Leningrad, that they burned every farmhouse, killed every animal, made sure that there wasn't one thing that the Germans could use on the way back. And it certainly looks to me like they're setting up as many roadblocks as they can on the way back down. And I guess the idea is that everybody's going to be buying every pullback. And I'm seeing a lot of fire breaks as they go back. I would say this. I think that the big people of Wall Street think that they can control this to the downside and make it an orderly retreat. But the more they do it, more it looks like, that was my belief, at least for the last 2 weeks, is they thought that they were going to make this a slow retreat back down to 1822. Then we'd see what was going to happen if there was more on the way down. But it certainly looks to me like they're going to drag this out as long as possible, at least what they think. But the more they do that, the more energy that you're storing up for when this thing does break. And you have what I'm trying to say is that the market is starting to act crashy. And not only the kind of movements that we've seen in China, but some of the other movements out here, especially in the dollar today, get me the idea that there's a lot more going on, a lot more moving pieces than we can look at. They tried to bludgeon this thing earlier today. It's back up at $92.96. We're right back up. We're off 9 cents on the day. Again, the question is, can they get this market going tomorrow when the ECB comes out? They put some rather low numbers on the QE. And is the question that I guess the question is, do they come out and just say we're starting QE and give us no numbers? Do they say we're buying so much and then we're going to continue buying? I guess that's what a lot of people are thinking. I can't think of any scenario that this makes it good for the U.S. markets and or the S&P cash. My guess is that we're probably going to see 1990 again tomorrow after the ECB, and normally that's about 8:30 in the morning. And when we start seeing, I think the announcement comes out probably 7:45, 8 o'clock normally. Then we have a press conference at about 8:30. And I expect it to all be all sweetness and lights. Everything's wonderful. Yeah, I know the theater's on fire and there's only one exit, but don't worry. It's a small fire over there and we're all over here. You don't need to worry. You don't need to get excited. Swiss was it. I'll guarantee you the Greeks are not going to be exiting the EU either. Neither are the rest of the countries. Just be calm. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. Just kind of like those T-shirts. Just keep calm and don't get excited, because it's all about an orderly pullback for the big banks as we go into deflation. And if you looked at the numbers the last couple of days in Europe, they are solidly in a deflationary spiral. Saw some people this morning on Financial Infotainment blaming it on the new technologies making things just so much cheaper. Apparently, he has never read The Irrational Optimist. Great book. I bring that up from time to time, but it shows that almost every displacement from where it took a 2-day salary to buy a candle to the point now where it takes less than about 5 minutes of work for a guy working at McDonald's to buy the same candle. Just how much better life is at every stage of additional technology improvement almost always means that the people behind that are much better off. But an excellent book. I'll try to bring it up during the break and show you the webpage. But the Rational Optimist, pretty good indication of how technology has made things better, and lower prices have just mean we bought more things and other people are in the businesses of the things that we buy. And whether it's a new quadcopter and drone, because of course everybody needs a drone. I don't have one, and I'm probably one of the biggest techies and used to have a remote controlled airplane. So I'm certainly in the target audience. The question is it really, do you really need one that bad? Are you going to use it more than a few days? Or are you some kind of pervert peering through the window of somebody's house? And kind of tough to see exactly. I guess it's fun to fly the things around and look at the videos, but my guess is only about 10% of the people are doing that. The other 90% of the people have no idea or have bad ideas about what to do with the stuff. But as we look at here, we're up 4 points on the S&P cash, 2.4 billion shares, and a very indication that started getting some of these bigger ETFs giving sell signals yesterday. I had one go right up to my stop and put out a note at about 3:30 yesterday that I was holding it back in. Certainly wasn't getting the kind of volume that we need. And today, same kind of thing. Came back up to the pretty much where the highs should be in this. Now, one of the things and hallmarks of a market like this, especially if it is a bear market, is that there is not a lot of foreshadowing of the big move. You just wake up and the move's already happened, and then the market doesn't move very far, and everybody thinks it's over, and everybody goes for another 10, 15 days, and then all of a sudden you get the next leg down. They tend to be very sharp and then kind of go sideways for a while, and then get ready to jump off the next building down to a smaller building. But what can you say? But certainly does not look good for me as far as the market, and I still think we are looking for a move in the next day or so back down to 1990 on the S&P cash. That's going to tell us a great deal about what's going on in this market. Of course, one of the other things that I put in my newsletter this morning, it certainly looked like we had at least a temporary bottom in the falling knife that is in energy, and I think we saw a few people trying to push the market on that. I just don't think that there's enough energy in those energy stocks to really move this market up. Again, maybe energy goes up as the general market pulls back and adds a little control rod to the nuclear reaction that I think is going lower. But you never can say.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
And there's not much news out here for the market, but I did see this one thing, and I didn't know about it, so I would pass it on before we go on to the rest of the show. Carl Dean Switzer, who played the character Alfalfa in our gang comedies. I grew up watching a lot of them. Died at age 31 today in 1959 in a fight about money. And basically what Alfalfa had become was a big dog trainer. And one of the dogs he trained ran off after a bear attacked it. He went and found the dog. The owner basically said was going to give him $50 for it, and tried to stiff him by buying $15 worth of drinks, getting him drunk. And the next day, old Alfalfa, with a little hangover, goes over, bangs on his door, says, "I want the $50," and the guy shoots him. And it's almost a little bit of Chinatown kind of thing in Hollywood, 1959. The guy says that Alfalfa threatened him, and he may have been yelling and screaming a little bit, but the guy said he had a big knife and was going to try to stab Alfalfa. Well, they found a penknife. It wasn't even open, and it's doubtful if Alfalfa had an hour that he could have killed the guy. But mysteriously, the guy was well connected and justifiable homicide. No race was involved, too, so sometimes people just kill other people. Anyway, on this day, Alfalfa met his maker. Sad to hear. We'll go on to a lot of news today, and
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Check out the new look of Tiger TV. Now you can see all hosts, charts, and computer screens live in high definition. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV. Now, crystal clear in high definition, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't seen the new look of Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Technomental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And as we get back here, give a little bit more noise out here. Anyway, head our history out here. Of course, IBM came out with earnings last night. I was listening to the call, and as far as I could tell, I went right into the mode after they started talking a few minutes that sounded like when the Peanuts were talking to the adults. And pretty much everybody started nodding over, and the stock, as they actually started talking, started going back and lower. It looks like they were talking about $21 or $21.50 a share just 3 months ago. We're down to $15.75 to $16.50 a share in the coming year. And, of course, no one likes that. But there doesn't look like, although they tried to put some lipstick on the pig, it didn't look like it did much.
Let's put some lipstick on this pig. Let's put some lipstick on this pig.
They certainly did. And it is a continuing issue that if basically they said it with a smile on their face, like things are getting better. But if you look at the numbers, even the numbers they give, it looks worse. So they are trying to make a best out of a bad situation. But I don't know. I'm thinking IBM's headed down to 125. Unless something majorly changes in the very near future, I don't think anybody wants to be touching this. But interesting. And my guess is the current CEO is not going to be the CEO in 6 months. But that's just a guess, educated at that. Netflix came out with their earnings and had a huge pop up. They had a fairly high short interest going into it. A lot of people were shorting this in the next few days because, of course, so many companies were blowing up going into earnings, especially the financials. The thought was that Netflix was going to have a big miss. Now, one of the things that Netflix is doing that could really impair its stock price going forward is that they're going to start actually showing profits. This has been a lot like Amazon, and my theory in Amazon was that as soon as they started actually making money and they had a real PE that people could peg against, that, well, that would probably be the end of the high side of the market. As Amazon moved closer to actually having to make money and investors started to move away from it, Netflix would have problems. So could we see another 2 or 3 days with Netflix holding higher? We could. We'll get into the chart pattern, but it looks to me like maybe another 10, 20 bucks in this thing, and you might want to take a look at shorting it. My guess is this would be one of these long-term shorts that takes the next year, year and a half for this thing to sell off as they continue to start making money and their books start to catch up with them. I think that there's a lot of stuff that they have from looking at it that looks like it's been shoved in way into future earnings because they thought they'd be able to grow their way out of it. And why I don't think anybody's going to jail over it. I think that there is a lot of financial engineering in Netflix as they go forward with Amazon coming out with some new things in the next few months, plus a few other companies coming out. My guess is that Netflix will find competition over the next year. I'm not saying this thing is going to blow apart in the next 3 months, but it looks to me like a $100 stock priced at $400, but it's going to take probably a year, year and a half to have everybody figure it out, much like Tesla. It took a long time up there. There's going to be a lot of stories about Netflix to the moon. The reality is, what would this stock look like if it was making money, and what would that EPS be? And that pretty much right now means that if Netflix was priced into the future today, I'm thinking 100, 125 bucks. So way overpriced, a huge company and a great company. I use them, but they didn't even make the revenue numbers at this time, which gives you just a little bit of idea how bearish everybody was going in. They were looking for a huge miss at the low end and did not get it. I suspect that they're going to have problems raising the kind of additional customers in the U.S. that they are talking about, but it's probably going to take the next quarter to get there. Now, to the big news of the day is Windows 10. All morning long, Microsoft has been showing off a lot of new features. We're going to get back to it, but if you ever watched the Star Trek Next Generation and watched the holodeck, well, Microsoft has something called the HoloLens that no one was expecting, and it is miraculous, I will say that. We'll back and talk about what's new at Microsoft as we come back.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
My guess is in the next 24 hours, you're going to start seeing a lot of news about Microsoft, and I wouldn't be shorting it. Not going long either, but I wouldn't be buying it either. It moves way too slow for me to ever think I'm going to be making the kind of money I want out of it. It's got too many big hedge funds in it that manipulate it and move it around, and a variety of other reasons. Same reason you won't find me investing in Intel these days. Those stories have already been told. But I would say that if you are looking for weak spots, I'm not going to be shorting Boeing. I'm not going to be shorting Microsoft or Intel. I kind of buried the lead here, and that is that Windows 10 was being shown today by Microsoft. I have a pre-release copy of it. There is going to be a brand new pre-release version of that available in about the next 7 days. I'll try to keep you guys involved in it, but it looks to me like Windows 10 is going to be coming out sometime about mid-summer. Mostly what you're going to notice in Windows 10 is that it is the same basic operating system, whether it's on a device like a phone under 8-inch, on a tablet, or on a desktop. And if a tablet goes to acting like a desktop or a laptop, it knows it and will orient the user interface to do so. And for the most part, even older apps will work with it perfectly. But probably the biggest thing is the integration of Cortana in the operating system. That's the Siri-like assistant in Windows and Windows 10. It is extremely good, and I have a feeling I would say that it is much better than Siri at this point. Don't know when Apple is going to come out with the next major upgrade to their product. But Windows 10 will have a new browser. It's the first one since 1995. To be totally true, there's still a lot of code that existed from the time that the first edition of Windows Explorer came out. But I have a friend that's son's becoming a programmer. He's graduating from high school this year. And guess what? Windows Explorer was actually finished before he was ever born. So it's been around for quite a while. They were also showing an 84-inch tablet called the Surface Hub that uses PIN and new PIN technology, which is pretty much continuous across all the platforms. So you'll be able to use a PIN-based input on it. To tell you the truth, it looks extremely good, especially when Apple still doesn't have a desktop or a laptop with a touch interface yet in it. This is out midsummer. We'll basically put together whether you have a phone, a tablet, or a tablet that converts to a laptop, and or a 84-inch tablet that is a something the size of a wall for presentations. They have customized versions of all the major software to run on them. And so if you're going to buy an 84, I think that's what I need for my trading place here, is an 84-inch giant tablet up on the wall. That would be cool, wouldn't it? But of course, I'm bearing the lead, and that is we saw the end of Google Glass pretty much over the last month or two. Windows is now showing their technology, which should be out in about September. And what it is a several lens kind of sunglass product. And through those multiple lenses, you get a holographic display. So if you, let's say that you were sitting in and you wanted to do something like project a giant interface on a wall or a movie or anything else, three-dimensionally you can. And kind of a long road. In 1972, the first holograph was made with Salvador Dali. And what's the guy? Oh, Only Women Bleed. I'm trying to remember the guy with the snakes, the musical artist. And that was it. What else would you do? What's his name now? I'm trying to remember. It's down at the Dali Museum. What's his name? Always ran around with the snakes. Smoking in the Boys' Room. That's Brown's Station, but I think he did a version of it too. Anyway, a musical artist. It's down there in the Salvador Dali. But the first real hologram. But this really, you're going to just have to see it. And I'll put some links out in the Tech Insider this week. But my guess is that you see it maybe before tonight and maybe tomorrow. But it is something really earth-shattering when you see it. And it's unclear how much of this is actually going to make it into a first edition. Of course, this is a very preliminary look at technology that they have, but it ran pretty solidly in the demo and is a very interesting idea. I think it was kind of what Google Glass wanted to be, but because Google Glass only could display images on the lens and superimpose it over everything, this actually will put three-dimensional objects out in space in front of you. So think more like the holodeck than the robot from not the Apocalypse. What is that? The T-1000 from Terminator, where everything's superimposed over what you see, and actually a three-dimensional object in space in front of you. Without having to have some kind of huge technological room like a holodeck. It is basically a set of glasses that interfaces with your computer. Windows 10 will include links for third-party people that also want to do similar things, but Microsoft's building their own technology. It's unclear how expensive these glasses will be, but my guess is that these are not so much aimed at the gaming crowd as real designer, 3D CAD designers, animators, people that are in design and other kind of work like that. But if you see the demo, I think you're going to be floored. This is probably the most significant thing that I've seen that's new and exciting, that isn't evolutionary but revolutionary. 3-4 years. It is incredibly exciting. What else? Oh, that is interesting. It is a mad market, and we're trading out at 2025 on the S&P cash, 2.56 billion shares. So it's going to be a light volume push once again to highs, and I'm seeing enough of these stocks, especially the high flyers out there, starting to pull back, that we're only 19 cents off the dollar after pushing it down almost $1 this morning. Fairly interesting. Gold is off, up a little. Guess it was off a little bit more. It's kind of come back too. So looks to me like this is all temporary, and we're waiting for 8 o'clock in the morning for the ECB, and 8:30 to 8:45 or 8:50 for what will be the conference call on that change. It is great, except for your voice. Okay. So, whatever. Let's take a look at Microsoft out here. Let me update this chart. I was going to see if this thing was moving at all. And I think so many people have Microsoft at the edge of no innovation that they're going to be very surprised when this starts coming out fairly quick. But I'm not expecting a huge move out here. Microsoft pretty much has already had that. It's put in a pretty good top, but my guess is that the support lies somewhere around $45 on it, but it may have a small move if you are in it. Stocks that are truly moving out here today, let me get to this, is Agrium. They had news, although this thing was up against a previous high. I didn't see this thing really coming out and seeing a lot of movement in it. But let's take a quick look at it. It had some news that I thought was interesting. If I can find it, I'm still scrolling down. Maybe I need to scroll up. Maybe I scrolled past it already. Maybe it's gone. Certainly looks like it. Maybe it's lower. Used to have it. Oh, it is much lower today. Downgraded to hold from buy at Miller Tabak. So, not a whole lot out here. This thing needed 1.3 million shares from the November 18th high, and it hasn't quite made it there. Kind of interesting to see people already giving it a downgrade. DAN, which is the company, will replace Cubist Pharmaceuticals in the S&P Midcap 400. This has a nice little kind of top out here that's spinning, and decent volume. But if you're looking at this, be well advised that it will replace it. And it doesn't have the date out here, but my guess is it's going to be one of these Fridays. It will replace Cubist in the mid-cap 400. So going to be some people have to buy that. It will be held up no matter what. Eldorado Gold is the giant sucking sound out here.
There will be a giant sucking sound.
And it's in Eldorado Gold today. If you owned it, I have to say there's probably been better days. Off 20%, reported 2014 operating results and preliminary cash costs, downgraded to hold from buy at TD Securities, downgraded neutral from outperform at Credit Suisse. And this is what I've been talking about for a while. A lot of these companies needed cash, and this thing basically did 8 million shares against the last major high, which is December 9th yesterday in front of earnings. So it basically matched the highs. You didn't have a real clue out here. But down on horrifically high volume, my guess is that if you have any pullback in gold at all, this thing could make it back to the $4.95 low of November 5th without a lot of effort. Temporarily, the support would come in at $5.75. FANG announced the pricing of its underwritten public offering, basically pushing more shares out. And back. Kind of a good day to probably come out on this. Not enough volume out here, but looks like they're going to try to push this up to around the $71 range. You have a triple high from November 21st, November 10th, and November 3rd, where this thing triple top before it came back down to $51.69 on December 15th. It's kind of gone up. Not a lot of energy in this thing, but could get up to $71. IBM, we looked at this, and of course, already a ton of volume has not come down and broke the $150.50 low from December 16th. My guess is that you will get that on any kind of real move back in this market. And as you go back, really the support is going to come in at about 145.13. That's the August 19th, 2011 low. Below that is where things really get dicey. And basically, you break that 145 area, you're back down to $100.55. So a lot of gaps down here. I could see all three of these gaps. There's one at 140, 130, and 110. I could see all those getting those filled and into that May 6, 2010 low of $100.55. That candle actually goes up to, I think, about $108 from that day or somewhere around that. But I would check that out. If you were thinking about IBM, that would probably be the one safe place to buy it. Netflix, of course, had a huge move out here. It's coming back up and filling this gap. My guess is that this is temporary as they start moving toward actually making money. Like I said, it's going to be a transitional phase, and anybody that does a fundamental review of Netflix is going to have problems with it. My guess is you're going to see distribution over the next 3 months. It's a great company. It may just be overpriced for where it is. They're also going to have a huge amount of expenses as they go and expand to the rest of the world, plus additional basically competition. I think if you were along this thing, you got a gift, and I'd be very surprised if you're not out of this thing in the next few days. My guess is that we're going to see the big men of Wall Street think about getting this thing out of this thing over the next 3 months as they get into the next earnings cycle. And probably at that point, you're going to start seeing some of the problems I think I see in the books out there. Let's see what else we have out here that looks interesting. Puma Technology, a lot of these things interesting. Well, you can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. Where is the S&P trying to get before a sell-off? I think this is it. We're probably this guy from VTEX never tells me who he is or where he's emailing from. All I know is he's from some vtext.com. Anyway, my guess is that we either take off in the morning and go back up to the highs, or we're headed down to 1990 where we're going to break those lows. So I'm looking at this right now as a market that is rapidly bullish in a market that earnings continue, for the most part, to disappoint, with the exception of something like Netflix. Looks like Tom's getting warmed up in the bullpen. We're up 7 points in the S&P cash, 6 billion shares. We'll be back for one segment.
How would you feel if you had a powerful decision-making tool that has the ability to find high-probability trading opportunities across multiple time frames in equities, currencies, and futures? Search no more. Take advantage of the best trade with the TAS Profile Scanner. Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to help them make the best and most accurate decisions. Scan over 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments for high-probability trading setups utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time, for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. Subscribers will also gain access to the December 9th workshop with John Logan. There's no obligation to pay anything. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy. A set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we are back. If I turn my headphones back up, we're going to go to Rich in Orlando. How you doing today, Rich?
And yourself.
What's that?
I'm doing very well here in Orlando. It's a beautiful day. How about yourself?
Beautiful down here too in Tampa. I was out at about 5:30 this morning. My dogs had to walk and went out, and all the stars were out. It was just a gorgeous day. Anyway, what do you want to talk about today?
Well, Maxwell. There's a company you've talked about in the past, and I think actually we spoke about it a number of months back. It sort of accelerated out of October off the bottoms there, and it went to about 12, and then slowly kind of slipping back with lower and lower volume.
Yeah, I mean, for the moment, until they actually announce something that competes with batteries, which they do not have for power density, being able to put the same amount of power in the space and weight that a lead acid cell would do. They're working on the weight part of it a lot, but there's nothing out yet. And if you look at this chart and you look at the same thing as the solar charts, you're going to see about the same thing. But my guess is that if crude gets anywhere around 25, like the Saudis are talking about, you're going to have an incredible time with that stock. going long. It's just going to be very painful. I don't see that, we could see a very long and protracted sideways movement in all these solar stocks before the next leg down, which I think is going to come unless we see a rapid, and I mean in the next few weeks, move back higher in in crude oil. It just doesn't make sense. I brought it up on the show with Tom O'Brien, and he says, yeah, but I want to buy a Tesla. Well, you can throw $80,000 or $90,000 at a car, but most of the people that bought a Tesla already bought one. And the question is someone going to pay 20 or 30 grand more to have a battery-powered car? So you've got to be able to get back in there a little bit less. If their technology worked out, you wouldn't have to replace battery packs. It would last 15 years. It would recharge in 2 minutes. It's got all the stuff. It's just not ready yet. So, I mean, I know that they're working with stuff. I cover it in the Tech Insider. I just don't see an opportunity to be buying this right now. It may be the end of the summer before we see something. But we need some kind of nuclear exchange in the Mediterranean, or there's going to have to be a major disruption. And even then, anything above $50, the spigots are going to be turned back up in the Northwest, and we're going to have all that fracking crude come back and hit the market. So it's going to be hard to see where we don't have extended under $60 a month a barrel crude for maybe a year, 18 months. So I'm going to have to see something physically change, especially with the deflation in Europe and the drop in what they're using. So it is a global market out there, and third world countries are having problems too. So in a world of deflation, it's hard for me to see commodities do well. I know Andy Heck has some new articles out, and I think one of the titles is The Year of Living Dangerously in Commodities. And I think sans gold or silver, any kind of commodity in the energy sector is a falling knife until it is proved it is not.
Gee, tell me something positive.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Unfortunately, what you're saying makes sense. And but yeah.
There's a time for everything, and the time for these is probably at least maybe at the end of the summer at the earliest. But watch the TAN, which is the Global Solar Index. My guess is if you want to play this, that would be yet another clue that sector is coming back. But you can need it.
TAN, Thomas, Apple, Nancy.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. You bet.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionics, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.